And we are live. Welcome, everybody. Good evening to everybody out there that is watching us right now. Oh, man, it's a wonderful Wednesday, man. I'm having a friend here with me. I can call her family now. I mean, his story is just, you're going to hear in a bit. A lot parts of his story is just amazing. We were at my office right now sitting down, and we were going over more of the story and stuff. And that's why I told you, please do not miss this, because you wanted to see real. That's what I'll bring you here in the Push Power to Power show. In your host, me, Jesus Ortiz, I'm going to bring you real. I'm going to bring you here people that went, had it, lost it all, came back, and they're still here, man. And they're still here, and you got them right here. So I wanted to create this show to bring you real people. Me, the real Jesus Ortiz, me, your podcaster, right here, Mr. Javier Sepulveda, man. I'm happy to have him here. And I'm happy to have everybody that's going to sit down there. Hey, man, you never know. Les Brown might be here sometime. hey, when you call it, I know somebody that can help me to make that happen. So when you call it and you manifest that, that's going to happen. But that's a big announcement for next time. But I'm just happy to bless and be here, guys. And everybody that's out there, hashtag share. Hashtag it's live, hashtag replay. So if you're watching it right now, it's all up to you guys. If you want to share it, it's up to in your heart. I never push nobody to share it. It comes from you. It comes from your heart. And telling you, every story that you hear, either it's mine, him, or somebody else, is going to help you. Or if it doesn't help you, somebody in your family or somebody around the world or around the globe is going to help, man. Trust me, last time I reached all the way through India. Gosh, man. Can you believe that, dude?
Exciting. That's exciting.
The Push Power to Power show was seen in India. That, to me, that's a proud moment. And damn, I'm just proud. And it's just proud that it's going to keep on growing and everybody's going to get to know who Jesus Ortiz here in Houston, Texas. And again, all of the people that are gonna come here, sit down, and they're gonna keep on coming, and we're gonna keep on working and making things happen just for you guys. That's why I'm here to help make that voice for the small owners, for the entrepreneurs, for somebody out there. It don't have to be business-wise. Anybody can come here because every has a voice. But let's get ready for the show, and let's roll the intro. And we're back. Ooh, man. Hey, man, thank you. To my people that are going to hear this audio when it's up there in Apple, Alexa, Spotify, you name it. Thank you, guys, for the listeners. Right now is the visual podcast, but then this is going to be on the audio podcast. So thank you, guys. When you listen to this, subscribe to it and leave a review, man. Just as well as here, subscribe to my page. And leave a review. The feedback and everything, that's what helps me. I love to read everybody's feedback, everybody's comment, because that helps me to understand, am I doing this wrong? Am I doing this right? Can I do this? Or anything, because I never take any comments as bad or good or in the middle. Nah, that helps me. That's why I said, man, there's a lot of haters. They're making me famous. Keep on sharing it. Oh, man, thank you. Look at that. Lorelai, aloha. Thank you. Jessica Solis. Leo Cardoso, Ana Cardone, Sebastian, on fire. Thank you, guys. I'm going to put y'all in here. There you go. So you got L'Oreal, then you got Sebastian, you got Jessica, Leo. Man. Keep on coming, guys. Keep on coming. On fire. Woo! Love the video. Hey, all the way from Hawaii. I said India. Now we got all the way from Hawaii. That's what I'm talking about, man. You got to be proud of those moments. I'm proud. But, hey, let's get back to business. Y'all can put anything you want there. I'm going to put it in here so that everybody can see it, any question or anything. But you can ask anything because I haven't even asked them anything yet. So, y'all keep on watching. Let's start the show. Oh, Javier, man. So, man, I love the talks that we have. And I'm proud to have you here that I finally met you because we've just done it on Zoom. And
Yeah.
and he drove all the way here from Esplendora, Texas. That's 1 hour away. So I'm proud to have him here, guys. And man, before we even roll out, and I have a couple of questions for him. Just give a little bit of background to the audience of who you are. My name is blah blah blah. You better a
Well,
basketball player.
not necessarily. Well, I did some basketball playing when I was in high school. I wasn't too good at it, but yeah, my name is Javier Sepulveda. Born and raised here in Houston, Texas. My family is from Mexico. My wife is from Careta, Nuevo León. Shout out to Careta, Nuevo León for the cousins that are listening. My parents are, as I said, from Mexico. My mom is from Tamaulipas, and my dad is from Nuevo León as well. So, pretty excited to be here. Had a nice little journey on my 47 years that the good Lord has allowed me to be here. And, I'm a family man, been married for 24 years. Got two beautiful girls, 22-year-old and 17-year-old. My wife is not only my wife, she's actually my friend. So shout out to Nancy Leal de Sepulveda. Great support with my family. So yeah, I'm glad to be here. And again, I want to share my story with my community because I've had an opportunity to have good and bad days. And I think that's where we learn from.
We're gonna start with something cool, man. Before you even get into the ins and outs of him, can you tell us just some amazing things that happened through your childhood, man? That just comes to you, be like, damn, man, I was with my boy, with this girl, my first case, whatever it was, but something that you reached through your mind,
I got something, and again, for all my guy friends out there, and yourself, and you probably will relate to this, and this is gonna be funny. So this is where you learn that you got to make some good decisions in your life, and buying cheap doesn't always pay off, So here I am. I have a vehicle. I bought myself a car. By the way, it was a Cadillac, a Fleetwood Cadillac. So I thought I was styling and doing whatnot. Paid maybe $1,500 for it. And here I am to go pick up a young lady to go to dinner or a date. And I'm thinking I'm a big shot, right? Well, she gets in the car and we turn the corner. And Jesse, the car stalls in the middle of the four-way. We haven't gotten 2 blocks down the street. So at that point, you kind of like, what do? Do you get her to drive and you push, or you tell her to push? You know what I mean? So, these are the kind of things that you pick up on. And I went home right after that. I said, you know what? I'm never going to do it again. I'm going to go buy me a new car, and I'm going to be paying a monthly fee on it. But I know that I'm going to get it from point A to point B. And ever since then, it's been a success story. Now, I kind of teach that. And I show that to my children. Be careful what we do in the decisions we make, because sometimes they're just not going to pay off as we think. So to me, I've had that on my conscience all my life, that I have that imagined underneath the four-way. Now, what do I do? Do I tell her to push, or do I push?
Man, we want to know a little bit about your background with your family. Was you came up with, were your family, your parents entrepreneurs, business, or were they regular person? Man, everybody's regular, but you know what I mean.
Well, good question. And that's where all of this has been born within me. My parents have always had, as a childhood in my life, I lived around rentals, rent property. My dad had rent property. My dad always had us working, and he taught us, that working hard paid off. It was, my parents didn't have it to be able to buy your $140 Jordans, but yet we wanted Jordans. So, but they taught us how to work. They taught us how important was it to work hard, be respectful. It was a church going family, and he also taught us that we wanted to own what we had. And that's where I now want to, at this, 47 years later, I appreciate all that I've picked up, because now I want to be able to share it. As a childhood life, living around rentals, living around a life where your parents are teaching you to be entrepreneurs. They're teaching you to be independent. Me and my brothers have always been independent of having our own companies, and that's what's brought success. It all starts at the foundation as a child. And, I try to do as much as I can to show my kids now that, and they pick it up. Sometimes it's a little difficult. And my oldest is probably going to fuss at me when I share this with you, but I've always talked about it, and she's recognized it. us Hispanics, we enjoy having these big parties, and especially when it comes down to 15s. You can spend 20, 15, $30,000 on a 15.
Hold on, I'm gonna stop you there for a
Yeah.
second. Somebody asked, Elkin Sequeira. Do you know him?
Yeah, I do know
Okay,
him.
he said, "Can I just want to make sure that if you can see us, because everybody's seeing. Press number one if y'all can see us, because you're the only one that's. I don't know if you meant if you can see us live, but we're here live, and if you're missing it live, it's through Yeraldy Media or it's through his page too.
Yeah.
So
Or you know what? Let's try to do something else. Let's go to, let's see. We're going to try to share it from my personal page and see if that works.
yeah, you can share it to your personal page.
Yeah.
Like you can see it on my personal page. It's on my personal page too as Jesus Ortiz. Like I said, or Yeraldy Media, you can watch it there too. We're all in YouTube. We're all over the place right now, man.
Let's see. We're gonna get that going right now. Let's see.
Saludos, te veo desde República Dominicana, Javier.
That's my
Damn!
friend. That's my friend.
Oh man, so we got California on the house, Hawaii, Chicago, Houston. Man, thank you guys. Thank you, man. God bless. And he's gonna keep on, right now with his story. I just wanted to see. No, everybody can see us. I don't know. Yeah, everybody can see us.
That's good.
Yeah,
So
I don't know where it's.
Here, I'm gonna share it again off of your page.
Yeah, you can share it out on my page. Yeah.
And we're gonna go from there. Then they should be able to see.
Yeah,
it
because
there.
everybody press number one. Yeah, because Troy Sanchez press number one. Yeah.
Okay, share it in public now. Here we go.
All right, so
Yeah, so we're good.
go ahead. Good. We're good.
So, one of the things is that I kind of share with my children, my girls. I got two beautiful kids, and in their growth because of what our parents taught us. One of the things was always to be able to, understand how to manage your funds and, try to spend well and work hard, be respectful. And what I was sharing as far as, us Hispanics like to spend these, high end dollars to have a party for a 15 or whatnot.
Yeah.
And it happens. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've done two. And I actually, my youngest she got two in 2 days. So it happens, but you find a way to be able to be efficient with that. Let's just say, try to manage money. And that's one of the biggest things that's happening now. Well, my oldest, I offered to buy her house when she was 15. Rather having a party to buy her 15, rather having a 15 party.
Do you rather have a house?
To buy her house.
Woo!
Well, that didn't go too well, and, they wanted to party and whatnot. But what I'm getting to is that, and she sees it now. She went off to college, she came back, and she's like, Dad, you know how many times I think about that? You know how many times that comes to me that if I would have taken that house, what position I'd be now? Yeah. What could I've done? And what's done is done. It's not a negative, but I like to share those kind of things because those are the kind of things that we need to acknowledge on what happens. You live in a moment, and that can even happen with a vehicle. It can happen with a house. It can happen just going to a party and spending in the nightclub $200, $300, $400. It's over. I mean, many of us out there that are seeing this have been there.
Me too.
Exactly. We've been there.
$700, guys.
The moment is gone. So, and I'm not saying to not, spoil yourself every now and then, but I am saying that as the older that I've gotten, I try to find a way to utilize that almighty dollar the best way. So as a child, you asked the question, I could definitely keep going back to that, where my parents, they didn't have it. They couldn't buy us $140 Jordans. But one thing they did teach me is that if I worked for it, I could get it on my own. So check this out. I want a pair of Jordans. They cost $140. I have to figure out how I'm going to get $140 because I can't go to my dad and say, give me $140 to buy a pair of shoes. With $140, he was paying and any other accessories in the house. So I had to figure out. So guess what I do? I actually borrow the lawnmower because I'm going to go cut enough yards to give me $140. Here's the funny part. I also got to ask for their electricity because the lawnmower was electric. So it was a double whammy. Not only can I cut your yard for $20, but can I also use your electricity to mow the yard?
Do they sell those things?
No, I don't know if they do.
I haven't seen those.
I brought one. I had one of those. So you could imagine me going down the street with an extension cord that's 100 foot long and pushing the lawnmower. So one thing that happened was once I did that, Jesse, I bought the $140 shoes. And my kid asked me, so how did you feel when you walked the halls of that school with $140 shoes? Did you feel like a big shot? And the answer was no. I felt No different than the other young man. But one thing that I did learn, as long as I work for it, I can buy what I want.
Yeah.
And ever since then, it was work. Figure out what's going to take your family where you need to go. Figure out how are you going to be stay above water. Now you got to be careful with that because you might want a lot of things that you become a workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
And now the balance comes in.
And you're not the first one. A lot of people, somebody else that had in the podcast, he was actually helping people. Hey, man, I'm going to help you out how to make $140 right now. And he started telling a story that he did. So I was like, now you bring that up. It's truthfully, you sometimes want something, but you want to get it from your parents or somebody. Give me the money. Mm-hmm. Like it's easy. But when they tell you got to work for it, you want it, go work for it. That's it. It's good because you learn something that you're like, oh, I made it, got my shoes. So
exactly. So at that point, you start telling in your mind, well, that means that if I want to live in that nice house, I got to work for it. And it doesn't have to be hard labor. If you got to go study, if you got to go pick up a book and read it to put you in a different mindset, if you got to go take some classes, but you got to work for it. And trust me, you wind up appreciating it even better, more. You wind up taking care of things more. So, again, my childhood was pretty awesome. Yes, we played the marbles, las canicas.
Oh, dude, I love
I love
that.
I did that,
you went back. You went back.
I'm going way back, right?
Yeah.
So, or you had your little Hot Wheels. Yeah, we did all that, and we had a lot of fun. And as a matter of fact, you mentioned Troy that's on there. We played ball together in front of the house and baseball and whatnot. So you have a good childhood. But I can always go back and say that my parents, my dad, they showed us, how to work for what we want. And that's what's gotten me here now, to be able to look back and say, hey, you know what, that worked. And I try to teach my kids that. And you learn on the way. And on the way that you learn, Jesse, that's one of the biggest things is you want to share it. You want to be able to share it.
You want to share that. Everything that you do to this moment, you want to share that. Every single step until you get to success, you want to share it with others. So they'll be like, damn, he's inviting me to his house for what? I wasn't even there. No, so you can kind of feel that moment like, shit, he made it. Shit, we're all bleed the same.
Exactly.
You just work hard, but to get to those points, like you said at the beginning, you hit a good point right there. To get to 6-7 figures, it's not about working hard, it's about working smart.
Right.
Because you can, like you say, you can bust your ass up working. You're never gonna get there. But if you find a way where you can work smart, collaborate, make things happen, you get there quicker.
Absolutely. One of the things is, coming out of school, I went to work for an organization, and he's a mentor of mine. I worked for him for 15 years. Frank Chad Richards, his daughter may be online and she may listen to this, but I admire him. He definitely showed me quite a bit. I remember him telling me, he gave me the 2 books to read, and I was like 19 years old. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Think and Grow Rich.
That was my first book.
They gave me those books to read, and he said, exposure is going to be key. You got to come out in the world. And we took a company, and I say we because I was part of that, under his wing, from a mom and pop shop to a Fortune 500. And, people that worked with me in that time, they knew I'd walk in the morning and walk out the next morning. When the project need was big enough and needed the attention, we were there 24 hours a day. But I'm leading into that story because when that company sold, I go back to what I mentioned. I can work for what I want, and I'm going to get it if you work for it.
Mm-hmm.
When that company sold, they gave me a check that was bigger than 3 or 4 parents of my friends or people that I knew that they made in an entire year. I was shocked. You got a 23-year-old with a check that weighs more than him, and you're shocked. So you get a taste of this, work pays off. Being respectful pays off. We just got to be consistent with it. And right now, being efficient, you mentioned the word efficient. Being efficient is the biggest key. Now, you mentioned I live in Splendora, Texas. So everything that I do, I got to be efficient with it because gas is not cheap.
Mm-mm.
Actually, my friend Elkin just said in Cleveland is 147.
147.
147 if it's in Cleveland. If you're in Cleveland, so
147. And I think around it's like 167.
It's not that high.
Yeah.
But you got to be efficient with it. And one of the things is, guys, and I'll talk about efficiency for a second. This COVID brought a lot. And I'm not going to take away from the bad that it brought, because it did. Let's hope that the good Lord blesses with stays behind us, and no more people start getting hurt financially or ill. But it did bring opportunity. It brought an opportunity, just a simple fact that somebody has a computer in their house now. Okay. How many families prior to COVID didn't have a laptop or didn't have a desktop at home? A lot.
Man, kids. It's cool.
And that's the future. What did COVID bring? Again, I'm not discarding the negative from it, but I am saying one of the positives. And the positive was it brought a computer to a household. So that means in the future, this young man, this young lady can actually learn how to have a computer at home. And not only the young lady and the young man, but also the parents. Do you know how many parents probably are not taking advantage of some type of benefit or some type of, that they can do on a computer because they don't have one? That's important. And now we have computers. So that means now efficiency, I can talk to a young lady or a young man or a parent via Zoom. How many people didn't use Zoom before?
I'm learning how to use it now, dude.
Exactly. So and my point is that, we have to look at the glass, not half empty.
There we go.
And as we move forward and we share our experiences, trust me, guys, I made a bunch of mistakes. I'm not perfect, but I've definitely learned from each one of them. And as we move forward, you'll be able to get better at it. But we got to accept we made a mistake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We have to accept.
So this is my next question. That gap between you were 18 and 25, you told me this story about when you started remodeling. This is when you got into it.
Right.
We want to hear that story because this is going to be cool, guys.
So, it is cool. So I just mentioned that, we went from a mom and pop shop to a Fortune 500. The company sells. I get this massive check. I'm walking on the clouds. And guess what? I'm not giving promotions to Grand Theft Auto, but Grand Theft Auto had just come out. I'm playing the video game. I'm at home. I'm watching BET, and I'm watching somebody flipping houses in San Antonio. This is what's happening. Again, the company sold. I got my check. I'm at home. My wife is going to work. And I'm watching this guy flip houses on TV. And she walks in one day and says, Javier, what are you going to do? She's hot. And she knows that she's listening. She's hot. She's hot because she just came on Houston traffic. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon when she got off, and it's 7 when she got home, and it's hot as hell. So she's hot already. And she tells me, I don't know what it is that you're going to do, but you're going to do something besides play video games. And I'm being honest, this is exactly what happened. She's probably home laughing right now because she knows that that's what happened. At that moment, I said, I'm going to flip houses. She goes, what do you mean you're going to flip houses? You don't even own a hammer. And I didn't. Although my parents and my dad had homes to remodel or he had rentals, I didn't want to do that. I'm going to go to school. I'm not going to do that. That's hard work. She said, you don't have a hammer. I said, but if this guy can do it, I can do it. And so I decided to start doing that. Trust me, I hit my thumbs many times with the hammer. Okay. But as that occurs, the owner of the company where I worked, he had a remodeling company and he decided to sell it and get out of it. So he calls me and he says, Javier, so I hear that you're going to go into the remodeling business. I said, you know what, Mike Myers? His name is Mike Myers, by the way. Awesome fella.
Shout out to Mike.
Shout out to Mike Myers. And he's not going to cut your head off, by the way. It's not that guy.
You took that out. I was about to say that.
It's not that guy.
Halloween time.
Halloween time, right. So he says, come by. My wife is on my butt about cleaning out the garage. I get down there and he starts making a list. He says, you pick the item. I'll write the item and I'll give you a dollar amount. You say yes or no. My friend, I start going down the list. I want this compressor, $25. I want this nail gun. Tell you what, take 5 for 50. He got tired of writing. He said, how about you just give me $1,000 for the entire garage, but you got to clean it tonight. My friend, there were tools in there worth $3,000, $4,000. It was a blessing. That night, I cleared his garage. Now I got a garage at my house full of tools. Then my wife is coming out and say, so what are you going to do with that? I said, I don't know, but I'm going to learn how to use it. And I started my journey of remodeling homes. And I did one, and it cost me because I didn't know how to do it. I was making mistakes. And once it starts costing you bread, Papa, guess what? You'll learn because you're not doing that again. And I did one. It worked out. I didn't make no money on it. I got hired to do it. Didn't make no money. So I said, all right, kept going. And then I bought one. I said, well, I'm going to buy my own and remodel my own. I figured that was a good deal. And I did. I don't know if you guys have seen, they actually move houses. They were moving houses back in the days from the Heights to other areas, like trailers.
I've seen that, yeah.
Okay, the entire house, they move it. So I bought one. Learned as well from that deal. I bought it. It was good. They moved it to my property, blah, blah. We put it down. When I went to take the paneling off that house, the paneling, they had wood paneling back in the days. Instead of sheetrock, or they had it on top of the sheetrock, but it was wood paneling. It's like wood grain everywhere, The old, that was the way it went. You were top notch. You got wood paneling. When I went to take the wood paneling off that house, guess what? Termites were eating up the house. So again, these are errors that I made while I was remodeling and while I was starting to flip my own houses with the tools that I had just purchased. It was a blessing to have the tools. The idea was working. Property was, back in the days, you can buy, I was going to the doorsteps of the family courthouse and buy property for $3,000, $4,000 at an auction. So you'd buy property and then put a house on it and then turn around and sell it. It was doing well. And the experience was perfect. My wife would fuss at me because sometimes we wouldn't make no money. But I was making mistakes that now I understand. That's why to now, when the real estate is happening right now, that experience is what's helping us now, because I can then show an investor, show that person, what to look for. How old is the AC? How old is that roof? Did you check the walls for wood paneling? Does it have termites? So that remodeling stage, oh man, it was a learning experience. And a lot of that, guys, I can tell you, it was a learning experience because in some cases I didn't make no money. But then I made money, and we made some very good money. And then what happened? 2008 came. 2008 said, it stopped us. It stopped us cold. It happened. It is what it is. I'm not putting fingers on nobody else. Yeah, the banks, yeah, the government, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to point a finger nowhere. At the end of the day, I learned from that as well. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Warren Buffett. Yep. So, and I did that. I made that one of those. That was one of my mistakes. I put all my eggs in one basket. And when that stuff cracked, I remember seeing those airplanes flying into Washington for a bailout. I'm never going to forget it. I'm on the edge of the bed and just flying. And I had a contract. I had already a contract on the house. I just remodeled it. I had a contract on the house already to sell. The guy said, you can keep my earnest money, but I'm not buying. Simple as that. I remember them planes flying in for the bailout. And I looked back and told my wife, I said, esto ya se jodió. Just like that. And she's like, why are you thinking negative? I'm like, why are you thinking negative? I said, no, Mom, it's because this is not going to be pretty. Sure enough, next day I get the phone call. I don't want the house. You keep my earnest money. But all my money is stuck in this house. All of it. Guys, I'll take it even further. And this was a mistake. Some of retirement money was in that house because I was counting on making 40, 60,000 a whop. It was going to push over to the next level. It was going to be able to purchase the next two. It just didn't happen. So you go learning from this. This is from my childhood all the way up into that. I'm going to be honest with you guys. As I always will always be talking to you guys. I didn't know failure. I didn't understand what it was until 2008. I was borderline depressed for the rest of my life. And my wife is listening right now, and I know she's probably remembering, and she's probably going to have a tear come down her eye because 2008 put us on our asses, to be honest with you. And we had to come back from that. The remodeling was awesome. And we did well. And it worked. But then 2008.
Man, you had to pivot.
I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm what, 32, so in my 30s, I got a family. I got 2 kids. What do you do? You've never experienced that. Well, excuse my language, audience, but you got to get your head out your ass and put a plan together.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. But I love that because you said you learn and experience.
Yeah.
You have to go through your stuff, whatever you're going through right now, and don't get mad or beat yourself up because you got to learn something like, hey, so it didn't work. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
How many times you can read book after book. Hear success story after success story. They weren't a success story overnight.
Nope.
They failed many times before that one time they hit it. And those are the kind of moments, and those, I mean, guys, I would always suggest you guys to take a book, read it. As a matter of fact, it's gotten a lot easier now. And again, I raise my hand up, sign the paper first. Get some audiobooks, listen to them in your car. I strongly suggest that. Feed the brain. Feed it. The brain. Feed it some positive, not necessarily all the junk that we hear, because yes, some of it is junk, Let's feed it some positive. Get you a book, put it on audio, put it in your car. You got about an hour. Anytime you move around in Houston is an hour.
It's about an hour, yeah.
Right? And don't get on this big freeway that's on the almost a Guinness Book of Records, the I-10 country, and it's still jammed up. So anywhere to go. So while you're in this car, listen to some books, feed the brain, and you're gonna be surprised, because that's one of the things that I had to do. You remember those 2 books I mentioned to you? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, that I got at the age of 18, which I read then, changed your mindset. You start looking at things completely different.
Oh, yeah.
Completely different. Well, I read those books again after 2008. I had to read them again because I needed to come back. What is it that I need to do? Well, the first thing I needed to do was put a plan together. Without no plan, without no goal, without no direction, guess what? I was spinning my wheels.
You're going all over the place.
I'm everywhere.
You're everywhere, and at the end of the day, nothing's gonna happen. You got to start at zero again.
At the end of the day, nothing's gonna happen. So it's been a journey. I must say, that remodeling stage was definitely a journey and a learning experience for me.
I love that. But you got to tell this story. It's probably got a little bit emotional with your wife, with what happened to her. That
is that we're talking about 2008. So this happens, and you're right. It does hit home, and it hits hard every now and then. And I say every now and then because sometimes I actually can actually speak about it, and sometimes I can't. And let's hope today that it allows me to keep going. So 2008 happens. Real estate market crashes. We go down with it. We have to move. We move to Dallas. Supposedly we're going to work down in Dallas, and it's going to work. This is going to take us out of being broke. That doesn't happen. We come back. We come back worse. So now we have we have 2 tenants in the houses that we have rented here that we were blessed to acquire in this time. Guess what? They can't pay. There's no work. 2008, 2009. There's no work. Nobody's working. They can't pay me. And it's hard for me to evict one of them out because she's a single parent with 2 kids, 3 kids. I can't put her out on the street. One of them does move out of one of the houses. We come one of the houses. And I must have been 2 months, and I didn't even put nothing. I didn't take nothing out of boxes. You're depressed because it's not working. Nothing is working. There's no work. The job that you went to Dallas, it didn't work. They're not paying you no rent. Everything. You ain't got no money. It's just bad. So we start a little small business at a flea market. Okay. And I was selling clothes. My kids know, my wife know, and some of the family members were going to remember seeing me at the flea market selling clothes. But I had to figure it out. I had to put a plan together. And and my wife just reminded me the other day about this one deal. Before I get to that, because this all comes in together. So my wife then says, we get our income taxes about $1,200, as I mentioned.
Yep.
And I said, $800 of that we're going to use to buy these pallets to sell clothes. But I'm also going to buy me a pair of shoes. I'm a shoe guy. I want to feel good. That's why it's good for us to get up in the morning, take a shower, get ourselves nice. That's going to change our attitude for the day. It doesn't matter what happens. Yeah. You get you a nice fresh fade, and you got yourself a nice coat on and some good looking shoes. I'm a superstar. You start feeling better. I told my wife, I'm going to ask you for something because I know it's only $1,200 we got and $800 we're going to use for a pallet, but I need $200 to buy me a pair of shoes. And I'm not kidding y'all. That's exactly what they cost. Some alligator shoes. There were some like these polo boots, but they were made out of alligator skin. And she's like, hey, if that's going to make you feel like, I said, Mom, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to put my shoes on. I'm going to put my Stars jeans, Stars shirt, and I'm going to go. My friends, I kid y'all not, 6 months straight, the flea market on Airline selling clothes gave me $4,000 a month. Because I learned how to do it. I told myself how to manage that. I had a plan, 100%. Remember we talked about it. Yeah. I wanted 100% of whatever I invested. So if I invested $400, I needed $400 back. That's what my goal was. So if that item cost me $4, I need $4 back. Even if the item cost $15, even if the item cost $20, it didn't matter to me. I needed 100%. So like I got them, I turned them. We did well. Good. Here we are. We're running. Everything's working. And then, boom, my wife gets ill. We don't know what it is. We go to hospital after hospital, and we don't know what it is. I remember my mother-in-law one day, shout out to my mother-in-law. She probably listened, if not my nieces or nephews will share with her. She told me, I'm sorry, but I have to take her home. And home was Mexico. I have to take her where I know and I have confidence that they're going to help my daughter. I'm never going to forget that, my friend. That trip. She had to leave before me because I had to figure out what I was to do with my kids. And she goes. My friend, I had never driven to Mexico at that time by myself. I established my children and I borrowed a van. Again, we're broke. Which is with my mom's van. I said, I need to use the van. You know, they say you got to cross the border. You ask for permits. Oh, buddy, that wasn't happening. I didn't even think about that. I was thinking about my wife and where the state she was in. I get in that van. I drive straight. Only the good Lord helped me get there. I got there. The family was shocked that I had made it without looking for directions. And I said, no, I just kept asking. Shut mouths don't get fed, as they said. I got to ask.
You got to ask, yep.
And I made it. She was in the hospital for 15 days, buddy. To this day, thank the good Lord, my wife is healthy. Guys, that was one event in my life that completely changed me. You learn to appreciate everything around you. You learn to appreciate family. You learn to appreciate the almighty dollar. You learn to understand that just because you got money and you got food in the fridge and there's cars and their houses, that's the answer. That's not the answer. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to appreciate all that and understand the value of it. The good Lord blessed us. She come through. The doctor told us if she waits one more day, she probably doesn't make it. Guys, I didn't keep in mind. This story it just goes one after another. So now I'm coming home, but I don't have a job. The houses can't be rented. The houses can't be sold. And I got a sick wife. And I got to hold back from stressing out my children. So think about that. What Highway 59, I don't know, 77, 59, from McAllen, Texas to Houston. I shed tears and prayed the whole way through while she was asleep, asking the good Lord just to help me find a job. All I needed was a job. That's it. If I got a job, I'm good. Check this out.
Oh yeah, this is where
I
was about to ask you.
I get emotional of it because it's the Lord is listening to you guys. When you in your hardest moment, that's when it comes out. You mentioned it the other day on one of your podcasts or one of your videos you were shooting. On your hardest moment, that's when everything shows up. And you're about to give up. You're about to say, man.
Oh yeah, I did that.
It
was like 1 a.m.
It was like 1 a.m. So here it is. I show up 10 o'clock at night, Sunday. My wife is, again, she's ill. I don't have no insurance. I don't have nothing. I go to bed. My phone has been disconnected for a couple of days, not knowing my friends have been looking for me for 2 weeks. So in the morning, when I get up, the phone, when I turn it on, it just buzzes away. Message after message after message after message. When that happened, I answer the phone, and it's one of my friends. And the nickname they called me was Bowlegs. And he says, Bowlegs, and he starts fussing at me because I haven't answered the phone. Why? Because a friend of ours had a position available waiting for me to be interviewed. And I tell him, look, this has happened. He says, well, you need to call her now because today is the last day that position will be available. Buddy, I call her and she starts fussing. It's been 2 weeks. I can't hold the job. Da, 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 da. I said, this is a position I'm in. She says, you need to come today for the interview. I said, well, I at least got to get a haircut and shave because I'm a hot mess. She says, you got 1 o'clock. Remember, I talked about my childhood, being respectful, being, you know, what my parents taught me, work hard. I go to the interview, and I'm going to tell you exactly, guys, what got me that job. And I'm going to show it out to you guys.
Yeah, why?
So we're at a table just like this one right here. And the young lady, or the boss, the head boss, is about to walk in through a door, kind of like that one over there. Imagine yourself in a conference room. And I'm sitting on this side and the manager sitting on that side. And of course, the boss is going to sit at the head of the table. When she walks in the door, this is what I do. And the first thing she says, we have a young man with respect. I like that. Guys, that's how come I got that job. Because the interview was maybe not even 10 minutes. I leave, I'm like, what now? Well, you know how we've all been there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, we'll call you.
We'll call you. Yeah, you're like, oh man.
Right? I mean, we'll call you. Get in the car. Get on the freeway. If you guys are familiar with Houston, they got 610 that's heading west. Is it west?
Yeah.
And the 40 goes underneath 45. I get the call. It was 145, as a matter of fact.
It was
145. 45 minutes later. Yeah, 45 minutes later. It was 145. Never gonna forget it. Underneath 45. And the phone rings. And she tells me, you got the job. That's when I broke down. I couldn't believe it. I go home and I share with my wife. Excuse me, guys. I got a job. At that point, our wish was granted. What I asked for, I got. I got a job. And I remember telling her, you know what? No more figuring things out. We're going to do a damn good job where we're at. And we're going to be very grateful there. And we were. And I was very grateful. And then it started happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then it started happening. We did a good job there. I worked with them for 10 years, 9.5 going on 10 years. So it was, again, guys, my story today is basically, there's a lot of little things that we learn as we move forward. There's a lot of little things that happen in our lives that we have to learn from them. But one of the biggest things is we got to accept. We have to accept. That's a big word. I mean, it's
big.
We have to accept where we at, what mistakes we made, so that we can get and we can advance. So it was. I've had them up and down, and now here it is. I did something in 2009, 2018, I think, if I'm not mistaken, my corrected years. 9.5 years later, I turned in my resignation there. As they say, I walked out through the big doors. And then I get reach out to me. Remember, once you create value, people are watching. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Especially now. I want you to think about that for a second. Let that sink in. Once you create value, once you create personal value, people are watching. People are watching us right now.
Yeah.
We don't know if one of the people that are watching us right now is going to need a podcaster to come and interview a high-end gentleman that's going to be a millionaire. You don't know.
You don't know. Yeah.
You don't know if a millionaire, somebody's going to get a position at a company that's going to need a realtor / a loan originator that's going to pay 7 figures. We don't know. But we got to create value. And as we learn of what our path is, and make the adjustments,
we will do it. Somebody asked, this will be a wonderful in Spanish as well. The next time we meet, we're definitely gonna do it in Spanish.
You got it. We're going to do it in Spanish. Porque si soy bilingüe, para los que no saben, también hablo español.
Yo también. Pero esto es lo mejor porque esto lo que quiero hacer es ayudar
a nuestra comunidad
hispana.
Exactamente,
¿sí?
Exactamente.
So esto va a ser fabuloso. So you got it. You said it. We're gonna make it happen. Lo vamos a hacer.
And we're going to do it. Sí lo vamos a hacer. Lo vamos a hacer.
Con una botella de tequila.
Ya dijiste.
And they're like, oh man, we want to go there.
No, todos pueden venir, right?
Todos pueden venir.
Sí.
Outside the window.
Sí, aquí afuera pueden estar viéndolos. So see, you know, estas cosas. Now you guys switch me into Spanish. So by the way, guys, just so you guys know, when it comes to Spanish, it is my second language. Okay, but Spanish was not my first, and I didn't speak Spanish as a child. And my wife, again, my parents spoke Spanish to us, and we spoke English. Well, the way they made us speak Spanish is that when you get out of school on vacation, guess what? We're going to go to Mexico. And we're like, oh, yeah, we're going to go to Mexico. We're going to hang out. No, you're going to go to Mexico. And because you chose not to speak Spanish while you're here at school with us at home, you're going to go to school. So I was like, wait a minute, I passed the classes. Why am I going to go to school? Because you're going to go to Mexico and learn how to speak Spanish. That didn't work. We didn't want to go to school. I didn't learn how to speak Spanish really well until I got married. That was it, you know.
That is crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy. But you know, again, you know, the biggest thing is just getting ourselves prepared, bring value, and that's what's happened to us now. You know,
Una dos X. That was Jose Betancourt.
Oh yeah,
Una dos X.
Una dos X. Yeah. So you know, you wind up bringing value, and I think a lot of our community, that's what we want to show them.
Yeah.
You know, let's bring value. And my story is basically, yes, we have ups and downs. I'm no different from the rest. You know, we have our good, we have our bad, but I've learned to accept certain things, mistakes that I made, whether it's personal, whether it's business, but you get better at it. You get better at what you do. And then you make decisions, you shock the world. You know, you make decisions that people are like, is this dude lost his mind? But because you're following your passion, because you feel that the experiences that you've had are going to get you where you go. And you're right. This is the beginning of something big.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about that.
We did talk about it.
You know, guys, I don't know if y'all actually met him, but he's got this energy. And when we talked the first time, it hit.
We had like an hour and 30 minutes.
And we had like an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's Zoom. I mean, Zoom was about to kick us out, by the way. You know? But, you know, at the end of the day, it's a passion. And one you mentioned right now, para nuestra comunidad hispana, esa es una de las pasiones que yo tengo. And I'm going to say it in Spanish because I want them to know that I have a passion that what I learned here, as born and raised here, I want to share with them, even my mistakes. Because I have a massive respect for people who have left their country, left families, left careers, left everything behind for the quote-unquote American dream, but yet don't take advantages of the benefits that the American dream comes with. They continue to work hard and hard and hard. You mentioned earlier, we learned how to work smart. And that's one of the things that it exists in this country. Yes, it's got its bad days and good days. We know that. But I want to share with the public, the Hispanic community, what benefits exist, what errors I made, what mistakes I made. Yes, I'm real. I'm a real person. I bleed red. I've had issues in my life. Yes, I think we've all done. We look, what que dicen en español, tire la pedrada, how does it go? And I done messed that up somehow, but you got to look at yourself in the mirror, basically. If you haven't done anything harm, I promise you, you did. You just don't remember. So
that's true.
What I'm saying is I'm human. That's why I wanted to share my story. I haven't had a perfect one, but I get better at it.
Hey, and the stories are never gonna be perfect. And we all have that one main story that broke you and break you, and then that one that make you who you are right now. And the other ones, the little mini ones, stuff is fun, childhood stuff, but it still kind of goes through the path that you're going through. That what makes Javier Sepulveda.
Exactly. You know, it's a path, and then you start learning. Oh, and then that's when you start getting really falling in love with it, because you start seeing that things that work.
Yeah.
You know, you start seeing that, whoa, this actually worked. You know, if I did this, it actually. And those are the kind of things that I want to be able to share with our community.
Oh, yeah. Look, this is something that is for everybody and me and you. today before I was coming in the morning, I was listening to a podcast. It's called Andy Frisella. Shout out to Andy Frisella. He's in California. He said, "This is why he cusses a lot, but that's good. It's his podcast, and I love him." He said, "This is why we don't make it. A lot of people don't make it because they always have that fear and complain. I want to do that. I want to do that. You know what? That stuff that you want to do, that's the stuff that's gonna make you.
Right.
But you already telling you that you're not gonna do it, that you're negative, that you have that fear, and that's the stuff that you're gonna work, and that's the stuff that's gonna make you."
Right.
And I was like, please, guys, everybody that's listening to me today, all that shit that you're saying right now, sorry about my language, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
I have to agree with you. You know, I'll tell you this. During COVID, I went back and I read again. Every time that something worldwide or nationwide happens, there's always an opportunity somewhere. We got to do something. So what did COVID do? It locked us in our houses. So what do we got to do? We got time. Why don't we read? Why don't we study? Why don't we pick up some classes online, virtual? Guess what I did? I actually did that. And I went back to those two books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Think and Grow Rich. I would suggest for everybody to read Think and Grow Rich.
Dude, I haven't even read it.
Read it, buddy. It's going to change.
I have like 4 copies.
Read it. Let me tell you what's going to happen. You know, that book is not necessarily business.
It's
not necessarily that, it's going to show you how to do your business and no. It touches all aspects of life.
Yeah.
And you mentioned one thing that book touched for me, even me, that, some things that you do, you procrastinate.
Yeah.
You said it right now. I'm going to do this. I wanted to do it. No, do it.
Do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
I mean, you'd be surprised. Real estate has been my passion from the get-go. And my story has gone, and yes, we try to do this, we try to do that. I mean, it's a passion. What did Michael Jordan do? He tried to play baseball.
Yeah. After basketball, did that
but
work?
He tried, right?
He tried.
But he wasn't the best he could have done it. He was the best at basketball. Real estate's been my passion. And right now, it's at a position where people need to take advantage of. Again, remember I said benefits that exist. People need to take advantage of the benefits that real estate brings right now. And that is low interest rates. That is happening right now. And my story of me living that now gives me that opportunity to say, okay, Mr. Investor or Mr. Rodriguez, you want to buy this house? Think about it. It has this. Or you want to buy this house? Let me help you. Interest rates are low. But because I know what that sheet plywood costs, I know what it costs to put that roof on. I actually did that. I know what the tools cost. I know how hard it takes the job to get done. I know that, and again, please nobody start getting mad at me, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're investing money and you got a contractor, you make sure he goes to work at 8 o'clock in the morning and he starts work at 8 o'clock, not go to Home Depot. Because if he goes to Home Depot at 8 o'clock, guess what? You just paid him to go to Home Depot, not work on your house.
Not work on your house.
So materials need to be there
already,
if not the day before.
That's why you go to Christina Franco. Shout out.
That's
this
right,
is a sponsor. Christina Franco, Martin Harbor, and Lumber. So you need anything that you just mentioned.
That's right. That's right. By the way, I'll share the story. And if she's listening, maybe she'll listen to this. She is okay also. I got to share a story behind that. I know I have not met her, as I mentioned to you personally. But I want to meet you personally because if it's one thing that I know about that lumber yard that you guys have, they're on. I remember my mother-in-law's house catching fire. And same time, during 2009, all this happened at the same time. And we didn't have no money. They offered to front her the materials to build that house and pay them on a monthly basis. That saved the day. So shout out to those guys. Those guys got a big heart. They're awesome because I personally can tell you we lived it. We actually lived it. They actually helped build that house. The contractor would go just pick up the material and they were paying on a monthly note, on a weekly basis. So shout out to those guys. So
shout out guys, yeah.
Those experiences right there, my friend, is what makes us today.
It's gold, dude.
Yeah, it's gold.
That's what I always say to people now that when I said that video, I'm living proof, man. We're living proof that we left that. I'm living proof that I'm barely leaving stuff and making shit happen that way. But he's living proof that he got it. He made it. He made that money. He broke down 2008. He came back up, found a job, something that he was working by himself. Then look where he's at right now, man. Like nothing is perfect. The life that we live you gotta live the life of experiences. Live your life. I always say this. we are free. Maybe to the society we're not because of how we live in, but us as humans, God or whatever you believe, He created us a free being. You already have your free soul, everything. So just walk with it, man. Just go
Yeah.
with it. Kind of is. I'm telling you, it's hard at the beginning because you got fear, afraid. That shit is still there. Stress is still there.
Mhm.
But when you get that knowledge and you take action, you're like, you know what? I can't control it.
Yeah.
I can't control that fear.
Yeah, absolutely. It goes all back to those Michael Jordans.
Yep.
You work hard, you get what you want. With respect. Without
Respect.
insulting nobody, without stepping on nobody to get nowhere else. And as a leader, you bring people up. You help.
Mhm.
You know, they say pay it forward. Literally, let's take that. Guys, right now, the biggest thing right now is that we need each other. I need you, you need me. We need each other as a community. We need to help each other. And that's going to take us out of this COVID-19 situation that, again, it's got some bad deals, but it also had some opportunities. And we've got an opportunity to help others. And that's what we want. We want to be able to help them. And my experience, my journey, my position of getting grounded. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, tell you, getting grounded, because it grounds you. God said, wait a minute, you don't got it? Okay, let me set you down for a second, son. You need to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens because we can make all the planning in the world we want, and we can stress out about something not happening. But if it's not God's will, let me tell you something, my friend, it ain't gonna happen.
It ain't gonna happen. No.
So we just gotta feel that way. And again, I'm happy. I feel good now. I just made a major decision 3 months ago, and people thought that I lost my mind, but I have a passion to help my community.
Let them know why why'd you make that decision?
I'll say it just in brief that I left a 6-figure paying job while there's a COVID. And I tell you guys, I did it because there's an opportunity out here to help my community big right now. And you have to be able to do that. And you have to and I have a passion for it. I have a big passion for it. You can follow me on my Facebook account and you'll see half of that Facebook account doesn't have nothing about me. There's pictures about me when I take pictures with my family, but most of the posts, most of the reshares, most of the it's really about somebody else.
Yeah, guys, it's been running down here. I'm having social media, Instagram and Facebook, so you don't have to, it's right there.
It's definitely, again, it's experiences, and as you move forward, you
right there now.
And as you move forward, you want to be able to share it with them. And we're going to do one in Spanish, and we're going to share it, and we're going to keep going because, again,
look at that. We're definitely gonna do it in Spanish. Javier Sepulveda, you really need to do this in Spanish for our only Spanish-speaking community. Oh man, my stomach!
Somebody wants to get in the audio.
Man, my stomach went. I'm like,
who's coming?
Ruby Rodriguez.
Ruby Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And I will. Ruby, we're definitely going to do it in Spanish. One of the biggest things that I'm big on is helping our community big time. And there's a lot of colleagues of mine of the life insurance industry, for a lot of you guys that know me from the life insurance industry, that they know that's how they know me, that I'm always the type that wants to help out. I want to help you. I currently want to continue to help them. So for anybody that's out there that wants to do something together to help each other, like we are right now, please message me, inbox me, hit me up on Facebook. We can do some, presentations together. We can talk about things together. Again, there's a lot in this book that I carry right here. And I say book because I keep telling myself that, because my goal is to write my book. So
and you will.
And I have that. I haven't yet. I don't. It's because I'm scared to say if I should say everything or not.
No. Because you're gonna leave a legacy, something that you like.
Yeah.
When you finish and your book is in front of you, you're gonna be like, "Damn, I actually did this shit."
Yeah.
And then you open it up and like, "That's my life on a book."
This is another thing, and I'll suggest it to yourself as well if you haven't done it already. I suggested to a colleague of mine to get a professional, pay it. I think it cost me like $40, $50 for them to write your bio. He's been, in the life insurance industry. He's got a couple of things in his background, management, military and whatnot, Marine, I'm sorry. And I told him, I suggested to him, hey, get your bio done by a professional. Just have them write it for you. It's going to cost you like $30, $40. Not because you necessarily need it. But guys, let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to read something and you're probably going to shock yourself because of how much you've actually done. You live that life and you're moving, remodeling houses, management a company, having your own, living in Dallas, moving 10 times in 10 different times in 10 years because you had a house every year that you were flipping. What organization you manage, how you helped other humans, how did they create their business with what you did, and so on and so on and so on. When you read it, you're going to feel really good about yourself. And that's important. That's like getting a fresh fade, getting a nice haircut, dressing up nice. You young ladies getting your nails done, getting your color in your hair, looking good. It changes. Sometimes we forget to look at what we've actually done. We have value. That value others need. We need to share it. We need to feel good to transmit that. When I talk to you, it's an energy that comes through.
In my stomach, huh? I don't even know, man. I went home and I ate some fajitas, man, and with vegetables. That was lunch. What time is it? Oh, no wonder. It's 7 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock. You're right, man. You're hungry.
Yeah, right. It happens. Yeah, no. And then my friend, Junior, the one that put Dos Equis, he got me thinking about a Dos Equis ever since he said that. So. But yeah, guys, again, my story basically is I just wanted to share with y'all today. Thank you for having me today.
No, man. And guys, thank you because it kept on growing and you asking questions and putting there that you want to see this in Spanish. And I was at a Katie business party and it was a birthday party for a business owner. And there was a realtor right there. And he told me, hey, Jesus, man, I've been watching you. And he said, you need to start doing them in Spanish. And look, this is a sign because he said, well, do it in Spanish and do it in Spanglish because the Hispanic community, we need to help our Hispanic community. A lot of them out there, they still think yes, I know there's a lot of scams. Yes, we know that. But you need to know and sit down with somebody, be like, this is where I'm at. How can you help me? I want to know information. That's it.
You know, guys, at the end of the day, and I was already starting to take off in Spanish. At the end of the day, for your Hispanic friends, just share with them. And again, and I say this from the heart because I also have Hispanic friends that don't know what exists. And yes, you're right. You did say that they've been scammed or somebody in their family has been scammed or they feel that it just doesn't work. Sit down with a professional that knows something. Please share this with your friends. Tell them, sit with someone who knows the industry. Don't go this weekend that's coming to a Christmas party. And if you do, be safe. Put a mask on. Please be careful with that. Yeah, please. It's here. So just be careful, okay? But what I'm trying to say is this. We all have that one comadre and one compadre, all of us, that knows it all.
That's so true.
And we could use, as a matter of fact, that's what we're going to call the show next time.
Yeah.
La comadre y el compadre que sabe todo.
Que sabe todo. Ahí está.
And it is what it is. I mean, because we all have them, okay? And here's what I'm saying. Nothing wrong with the comadres and compadres because I have my own.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, when you want to talk about life insurance, you call a professional and let them talk to you. It's free. When you want to talk about remodeling a home, you call somebody who does that. Free estimates. When you want to buy a house, you want to get a loan, who you call? You call me. You call me. You know, someone who's been in the business. You really want to do that. Don't hesitate. It's free.
Yeah,
you get a quote. You know, I had the experience with remodeling as well. So this young lady, I'm calling her, she wants to remodel her restaurant, but she's been talking about it. She's been doing what? Procrastinating. Right? So finally I told her, I said, look, just give us an opportunity to give you a quote. You're going to be surprised. Well, no, it's because they told me this is going to cost me so much money. They have told you.
Who have told you?
Let me give you a quote of what you want, and you didn't decide if you want to do it or not.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And then if not, then you go down like Walmart and you tell the next guy, look, if you can do better than this, you can get the job. So basically, you're going to save money anyway.
Yeah.
She was shocked. Well, I thought we were going to spend like $14,000. It was only $5,000. It goes back to everything that we do. If we don't ask, closed mouth don't get fed.
Yeah, you got to ask.
You got to ask. Talk to a professional. Talk to somebody that understands the industry. Of whatever it is that you're interested in, talk to somebody who knows. Trust me, guys, the experience that I've had, I have a passion for real estate. And that's the reason why I'm into real estate now, to be able to help. Actually, that's why I'm not necessarily that I'm into it now. I am more involved now than I was before. because now I want to bring to my community and say, you know what? You don't need a perfect credit score to buy a house. Oh, it's because he told me I needed to have a 700. No, you don't. You don't need a perfect credit score to buy a house. You don't need to be a millionaire to buy a nice house. You don't need to have necessarily, to my ITIN clients, you can buy a house. You can buy a house, okay? And in some cases, depending on the program or what you've done, it don't necessarily have to be 20% that you put down. You don't have to have 10,000. These are all little things that people think about. No, let me tell you something, guys. I too, and I will stand in line and sign the first dotted line. We all have an excuse in many cases on why we don't do things. What did you say earlier? Just do them. If we're able to do that, take action. We have many people, it happens, but we learn from it. You go to trainings, you hear a seminar, you hear someone, you hear this bald-headed guy here on Facebook talking about you don't need this to buy a house, and you've been thinking to buy a house, but yet tomorrow you wake up and you still procrastinate. You know, I wish I could buy me a house. But yet you don't pick up the phone and call.
And ask.
That's
Juanito.
You know, it happens. You got to get there. And what I want people to get out of this interview, which thank you for having me today, is yes, I want you to know that I'm real. I'm a real person. I got my feet on the ground. And what I mean by that is that because I live the story. I live that, where you learn of your actions, you learn of what you've done, and you catch some good experiences and you get some bad ones and you make the best of it. I've been blessed, guys. My wife is healthy, my kids are healthy, my family's healthy, you're healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've been blessed, and we want to be able to do is we want to keep passing that on. And now, mainly because of COVID's came, and again, and I shouldn't be even saying that, but COVID showed up, and now we have to. It has brought. If you ask me, it brought awareness.
Yeah, it did. It brought
awareness. Let's not take that for granted. Let's say, okay, what is it that it brought in my life? What is it that I need to do to adjust? I'm not saying to change, because they say you can't change that old tree. That tree's crooked. You can't change it. Hey, but you know what? I bet you what you can do. You can make it out of a swing. Because it's crooked.
Because it's crooked.
In other words, what I'm saying is you make the best of what you have. You make the adjustments. So, it's a journey, and again, I'm still thinking about el público del español, el público, lo vamos a hacer en español. Ahora sí, I'm excited. We got to schedule that because I'm excited it goes back.
No, we are. We're going to schedule it. We're going to push it out there. We're going to make it happen. We want so we can both together push it out really good to the Hispanic community to look for those groups that they need to hear this in Spanish, because I know there's a lot of groups, man. A lot of groups that I know you have in Houston that they only speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Or people that we know that they want to know stuff like, oh man, but I'm afraid. Like, I know a lot of people are Hispanic that they're afraid to ask. No, man, like you said, let me ask your uncle. He knows. Like, oh, you got to ask a professional. Uncle's cooking meat over there, man.
Hey, you tell him how to cook how to bring if he needs limes or lemons with the tequila.
Right. That's it.
That's
it, man. And don't be afraid that
ask.
And if you just sit down and be like, hey, man, because I know some of them are probably asking, but Jesus and Javier, I don't really know anybody out there that, that's why we're here.
Por eso estamos aquí para todos ustedes que tal vez estén escuchándolo y su primer lenguaje o hablan español primero o el primer lenguaje es español. Ustedes pueden reconocer que mi lenguaje en inglés es el de primero. So, para ustedes que el primero es español, pregúntenos. Los otros no necesariamente, tal vez no les tengamos la respuesta de algo que no conocemos, pero los podemos referir con la persona
que sepa. Porque tenemos conexiones.
Porque tenemos conexiones. En otras palabras, todo lo que hemos hecho los otros últimos 10, 15, 20, 30 años, queremos compartirlo. Queremos que ustedes se sientan confiados en nosotros, que nosotros los podemos apoyar. Conectarlos con personas que nosotros tenemos confianza. Yo no les voy a comentar, ni Jesús les va a comentar a una persona que los jodió a los otros. No, al contrario, queremos hablar y conectar con personas en la comunidad misma que han sido buenos en lo que hacen. Si es un carpintero, si es un mecánico, si es un plomero, si es un techero,
un
pintor, si es un podcaster, yo conozco uno.
Hey man, you get it, your boy, man, right now, get it.
Yeah, yo conozco uno. So, de todo eso podemos tener esa comunicación. Igual, yo no tengo problema en contarles mi historia, lo hice ahorita en inglés, Porque mi historia es importante. ¿Y por qué es importante? Porque al fin del día somos humanos. Y eso es lo que lo hace a los otros crecer más. Nomás de ahorita de platicar de mi historia, me dan muchas más ganas de trabajar todavía mucho más duro.
Más duro, igual.
Exactamente.
Ustedes también que nos están mirando tienen su propia historia. No piensen que, pero Jesús, no, Jesús, tu historia tiene un valor especial, igual que la de nosotros.
Sí.
So, tú sácala y no tengas miedo. Si tienes que entrenar tú solo, para que estés listo y salir así como conmigo en el podcast o en la radio, pues hazlo. Así lo hice yo. Me tomó mucho tiempo para poder yo salir adelante, salir en otro radio, para poder decir mi historia.
Quiero que digas un poquito, y yo me quedé en shock, quiero que le digas al público.
Adivinen de dónde soy.
Adivinen de dónde es. Ok, les voy a dar una clave, y la clave es México y está cerca del mar, ¿cierto?
México está cerca del mar y está hermoso.
Y está hermoso, ok. Ok, adivinen, si no son, ¿cuántos somos? ¿20? ¿9? Ok, no importa. Si pueden adivinar, ¿de dónde es México cerca del mar?
Cerca del mar.
Cerca
La
del
vida
mar.
está sabrosa.
A ver si alguien lo puede decir, no sé, tal vez, bueno, cuando lo escuchan tal vez salga, pero no sé si quieres.
Y eso que a mi lenguaje primero es español.
Yeah.
Y se me hace más difícil que él lo hace más fácil. Su lenguaje de él era inglés. Y mi segundo lenguaje es inglés.
No, y te cuento por qué. Yo fui a trabajar, para todos que me conozcan de life insurance y en la industria de seguros, yo trabajé con Curiman Brokers Group. Y la primera semana que yo estuve allí, fíjense lo que pasó. Mi lenguaje en inglés es primero, right? Es lo que hablo primero. Pero pues soy bilingüe y sí conozco, y mi esposa es mexicana, y ella me enseña a hablar y me corrige, mis cuñadas me corrigen. Shout out to my cuñada Maritza, que la quiero mucho, y Yanira y Ana, todos los que están escuchando. Me corrigen. Y primer semana, llega un viernes y va a ser una morenita, va a hacer una presentación. Y el dueño de la compañía me dice, Javier, ¿cómo estás? Muy buenos días. Y que esto, no, y que sí, ¿cómo está? Todo bien. Dice, cupo que traduzcas a la morenita. Cuando ella habla lo que ella dice en inglés, tú lo vas a repetir en español. Y yo dije, no, pues ok. Agarraré el toro de los cuernos, papá. No hay de otra.
No hay de otra.
Le hablé a mi esposa, le dije, hey, ma, que sabes que me acaban de decir que tengo que traducir lo que diga la morenita. Dijo, ¿y qué vas a hacer? Le digo, pues ni modo, le voy a entrar. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Y así es como yo comencé a aprender, y todavía me equivoco, como me escuchan, todavía me equivoco en ciertas palabras, pero tuve que practicar 3 años derechos hablando puro español, porque la comunidad era pura español, todos eran de otros países y allí en las oficinas esas. Con gusto lo queremos hacer en español, porque más que nada yo vuelvo a lo mismo, mi experiencia, todo lo que me ha sucedido en mi vida, tanto como mal o bien, me ha hecho la persona que soy hoy. Y esa experiencia, tanto de comprar casas, remodelarlas, no hacer dinero en ellos, hacer mucho dinero, poner todos los huevos en una canasta, como se dice, y perdí, todo eso quiero compartir con ustedes, porque yo puedo hablar con ustedes de bienes y raíces desde comprar la casa, cuánto le va a costar para remodelarla, si usted decide remodelarla. Cuando la quiere remodelar, puede costar muy caro, depende de qué lo que es. Todo depende para mí, los que quieren invertir, los contratistas que están allá afuera, ¿ok? Que dicen, hey, yo ya tengo mi dinerito, ya conseguí mi dinero, pero yo quiero también tener mi propia casa para remodelarla. Si ustedes gustan con eso, yo les puedo ayudar. Para el que tiene el dinero, para los troqueros que han acumulado dinero, que tienen su dinerito ahorrado y ellos quieren tener una casita de renta, también yo los puedo ayudar, decir, ¿sabe qué? Podemos hacer esto, maestro, podemos hacer lo otro, para que usted se ahorre y se evite los errores que yo hice. That's the biggest thing. I want people to avoid the mistakes that I made. That's the biggest thing.
Man, he went at it in Spanish good, man. I got to learn from him. See, I got to keep on going and speaking. That's why my other friends that are realtors, they say, hey, Jesus, you got to do it in Spanish. And I'm not afraid, but in my mind, it's like, shit, man. It's like, I need to get back to it in Spanish because I do at home because my mom speaks Spanish, not English, but not enough to be like, get into a conversation. And I need to get into that.
Oh, my friend, it was, trust me, you'll get tongue-tied. You can hear it in my tongue. it's kind of hard for us to is rolling
Yeah,
the
you
R.
saw, like, I was like,
Yeah.
I know it in English to say it fast.
Yeah.
But in Spanish, it's like, what do you say? How do you say
Yeah.
it? And then my mom is like, that's how you say it. I'm like,
It happens. I mean, no, and then what happens is switching it. Sometimes you kind of, what am I going to say?
What am I going to say?
I would say. So it happens. But
that's what we gotta do in Spanish and in Spanglish, but mostly Spanish. But so we can help.
Exactly. That's what we're gonna do. We need to do it in Spanish, and I promise you, when I bring that bottle of tequila, you take that one shot, te va a salir en español porque te va a salir.
Como Speedy González. Voy a estar aquí como Speedy González y voy a estar corriendo aquí.
Yeah.
Hasta vamos a traer la board esa y escribir cosas si necesitan saber que en español para que la gente se necesita saber algo, porcentaje de la casa o X. Tenemos una whiteboard, no la pueden ver ustedes, está del otro lado.
Sí, un pizarrón
blanco.
Y todas las preguntas que ustedes pueden tener, nos pueden mandar un mensaje, un inbox. Any questions you guys have, y'all can send an inbox message, and we reach out to you guys so that you guys can, get our assistance. That's what we want. Queremos ser asistentes nosotros queremos ser sus asistentes. Queremos poder apoyarlos. Jesús conoce mucha gente. Yo conozco mucha gente. Y todos los dos tenemos una profesión donde nosotros les podemos ayudar. Sí. Simplemente les voy a decir algo. Háblenle a Jesús y necesitan que saber cuál micrófono comprar. Así de fácil. Porque ¿qué? Jesús lo ha usado. Usted se ha equivocado en comprar uno que no le gustó, uno se oyó muy bien. Pero es el profesional aquí del tema. De cuando se viene un micrófono para hacer un video en tu casa o una cámara. Cuando yo le estaba viendo la cámara fue lo que yo le pregunté.
Y le tomó una foto y él la va a comprar.
Exactamente. ¿Qué dice la hermana? La hermana...
Laughing now shots, dice.
She says shots. shots. Yeah, we're going to have to do that one en un viernes. Donde tenemos que trabajar.
Sí, está bien.
Yeah.
Pues ¿qué fue? El viernes pasado, mi podcast era un health insurance y él trajo 3 botellas de whisky y estuvimos tomando en el show.
¿Sí?
Y me invitó a comer aquí porque ya
era... ¿Dio hambre?
Ya era tarde y le dije yo, voy a ir a comer. Y me dijo, espérate, mi esposa está en el teléfono. Y le dijo a su esposa, hey, do you mind? No, do you mind driving over here so you can eat? So Jesús can eat with us? No. Y manejó hasta acá la esposa. Fíjate. Y comimos los 3. Y me invitó él.
Bueno, pero no quería interrumpirte.
No.
Nadie dijo de dónde didn't get.
Sí. Hey, no sabe de dónde soy. Nadie.
No, pues tienes que decirle.
Nadie. Soy de Tampico, Tamaulipas. Las jaivas. Y me gustan las jaivas y los camarones.
Nacido y creado en Tampico, Tamaulipas.
Sí, allá nací en Tampico. Y no muchas personas me preguntan.
No, pues yo ahorita que me dijiste, yo dije, wow.
Piensan que soy de aquí, pero porque pues yo me siento más de aquí porque toda mi vida he estado aquí.
Sí.
Desde los 9 años, tengo 35, pero mi niñez, antes de que viniera, era allá y todo me acuerdo.
Wow.
Son esas historias de que...
A mí no me preguntes de mi niñez, que ahorita cuando me preguntaste, a ver, dime algo de tu niñez, dije yo, oh my God.
Y dijiste, ¡pum! Esa es la mejor historia. Esa historia.
Ya tenía 15 años y... De la niñez nomás me acuerdo del pecado. No, es que el cerebro lo ha has been on fire.
No.
De por sí ya perdí todo el pelo. Ya no me crece.
Oh, look, alguien dijo de Veracruz. Mi mamá es de Veracruz.
Oh, ok.
Ya, ¿cómo les dicen a los de Veracruz en español?
No sé.
Luego le pregunto. Pero ella es de Veracruz.
¿Quién más tenemos ahí ahorita para saludarlos, para ver si lo escuchan? Tenemos a Ruby.
Tenemos a Jessica, Troy, a
saludos,
Joshua,
hermana.
Ruby, Yannick. Jessica,
Yannick Santos, awesome young man out of Florida. Shout out, Yannick.
José, Andrea Saavedra.
Andrea, saludos, Andrea.
Enrique Galván.
Enrique, carnal, ¿cómo estás?
María Molina, Titi Galván.
María Molina is my mom.
For real?
Yeah, María is my mom. Shout out, mom.
Hey, shout out to every Tony Sanchez, Ana Laura Sequeira, Alamo, man. Thank you. Shout outs to every single one of you. I know that.
Titi, sister, how you doing?
That we didn't type anything here, but that y'all learned something today. That y'all took it from the heart. Oh, we got a new comment. Oh, our dad from Matamoros, de Enrique Galván.
Awesome.
Saludos. Yeah, man. Everybody that came here, God bless you guys, because there was a lot of you. We had a lot of people here, and I know we have from Chicago, Hawaii, here, Houston, you name it. We were all over the place. So that's good. That makes me proud that, that's why I bring, like I said, I'm going to bring you somebody that is the realest, man. They went through it. Just like That's what I love, having them sit there, because they have a story that I want to hear. Not only me, but you guys.
Yeah.
You want to hear this story because it's going to help you. Just somewhere inside of you is going to be like, boom, oh man, I really needed this today. Maybe some part of your story that you said, somebody out there all over the world, that whoever was watching, were like, I needed that today. Yeah. That moment, that move, little piece that said, man, I had that written down. I needed that spice, So tomorrow, no, forget tomorrow. After the show, I'm going to start it.
Yeah, if it's one thing, you're absolutely right. If you guys can take something from today, that would be great. And again, my story, some of it, from wanting to buy Michael Jordans and I couldn't, and working hard for what we want, being respectful, learning from our experiences, and accepting where we made mistakes.
Yeah, acepten todo lo que les pasó y lo que viene. Mm-hmm. Acéptenlo, porque la vida te va a dar vueltas y te va a poner obstáculos y te va a poner, man, una paleta, un hot dog. ¿Qué quieres? ¿El hot dog o la paleta? ¿Ah? Nomás estoy diciéndole eso porque voy a decir una paleta y un hot dog. Así es, la vida es crazy, la vida es loca. Sí. La vida tienes que vivirla y vivirla, man. Y saber de que vas a pasar por momentos de que difíciles, de que ahí es cuando la gente fracasa. Ahí es cuando la gente dice, no es para mí, ¿por qué me metí en esto? No, ese es el momento, como el video que hice, ese es el momento que tú llegas hasta tu corazón, algo de que tienes en ti, dices, no llegué de aquí hasta a este momento para perder todo lo que hice.
Hay un dicho, o hay una frase que dice en inglés, I didn't get this far to get this far.
I said it in English that day.
Yeah, you did. No llegué hasta aquí para llegar hasta aquí.
I didn't get this far for this.
I forgot. I didn't get this far to get this far.
This far, yeah.
Al fin del día trabajamos muy duro para tener las cosas. ¿Por qué no prepararlos con ello? Y hay mucha gente aquí que está dispuesta a ayudarlos. Y tanto como Jesús, como yo, we want to help. We want to be able to help out. And again, especially me. And you got me here today. Jesus has been helping a bunch of people, on these audios, on these interviews. Hey, I'm all for it, guys. Anything I can help, let me know. Real estate, I can tell you the ins and outs of it, and we can connect. Let me know.
The books again? Somebody asked about the books.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Think and Grow Rich.
Go get them, man. In Amazon. I think the Rich Dad Poor book is like $7 on Amazon, and the other one's about $12. So you good. You can get them right now. Order it. 2 days, you get it. By the end of the year, you finish it. It's gonna change. So you can start.
Absolutely. Man. That's a good idea. Yeah. As a matter of fact, again, if you're a reader, and the reason I say that is because I'm not a big reader. So sometimes it takes me a little longer to read a book than others, and I accept that. So if you go get it, you can also get it on Amazon as an audio.
As an audio,
and you put it in your ear before you go to bed, and you listen to a chapter, and then you listen. I actually listened in an audio, and I listened to it twice. I did it twice. And the second time, every time you read it, you're going to get something out of it.
Always. Every book you read, you'll get something
out of it. And one of the things that happened this year, and again, remember I said I made a major decision 3 months ago. One of the things, I read this book in May. I reread it again. And one of the things that I got out of it was procrastinating. Keep saying I wanted to do something, and I kept putting it aside. I kept saying that. And it was happening in my life. I kept putting aside what I wanted to do for Los Sepulveda. What I wanted to do for me. What does Steve Harvey say in his jump? You got to jump.
You got to jump, man. That's how I jumped.
You got to jump.
And then you figure it out.
And you're going to be surprised that when you do that, you're going to have the supporters around you. That's why it's good to be good around people. And when I read that book, it came to me. I said, that's what it is. I just need to do it. You just finished saying it. And here we are now. I've got 47 years that the good Lord has allowed me to be here. And at 40, how old was Kentucky when he did the Kentucky Fried Chicken? And it's 60s
67.
Or 67. So we have to just go do it. And again, by doing that, set small goals. I'm sure Jesus had small goals where he probably was doing his first video just with a phone.
Hell yeah.
And now he's got 2 mics and
an nice Android camera. And a new iPhone.
Exactly. So
it's crazy.
So these are the kind of things that we live. And as long as we acknowledge those, we'll do well. Pero necesitamos que poner metas. We got to put goals and keep trying to reach them. And as we do that, small goals get to big goals. Don't stress yourself out. Want to take on everything at one time. So.
And don't be afraid to think big.
Oh, you got to
Always think big out the box, and then that's when your small goes and you hit them.
Yeah.
You're like, when you think so big, you're like, damn, I'm never gonna reach that. Nah, because those moments when you go and hitting those little goals, you get closer. You get closer.
I'll tell you this. Again, I was telling you about mowing yards to get the money, right?
Yeah.
Well, now I have 2 acres, okay? And before,
Damn.
Yeah, I live on 2 acres. So when I first got there, I decided that I was going to push mow the 2 acres. I'm not kidding y'all. I mean, I'm not lying. My wife can justify this. I literally was going to push mow it. So I went and bought me a little push mower. They had 4x4 on it. I still had to push it. So that didn't work a whole lot. But I wanted to push it. And I say that because we want to talk about small goals.
Yeah.
Okay. So mentally, I had to tell myself, I'm going to cut this little square first. And then I'm going to cut that little square. And then I'm going to cut that little square. And then I'm going to cut this one. By the time you knew it, I was done. But when I looked at the yard in the big to try to do it at one
You're
time,
like, no.
I was already tired before I started.
Fuck this, let me call.
Let me call
Manuel.
Right. I mean, all I'm saying is those small goals will get you where you need to get.
Yeah.
But you have to see them with that mindset. Because otherwise, I look at that massive yard and I'm like, oh my God, I'm already tired before I started. But I did it in pieces. So small goals, guys, set you guys some small goals and y'all get where y'all need to go. And you guys are going to surprise yourself. Oh, and make a list. Plan. Okay, I'm going to share something with you guys. I have to, and I told myself I'm going to show you.
Go ahead.
How many of us out there have been grocery shopping without a list?
Yeah, and that's me right there, dude.
Okay.
But I learned it from mom now.
All right. And how many of us have gone without a list and bought groceries that we didn't need, that we had in the fridge or we had in the pantry?
That's true.
Because we didn't have a list. We didn't plan.
Yeah.
So you spent extra money on another half a gallon of milk when you had a half a gallon of milk. You didn't need to buy it. Or you had bread. But we didn't check. We didn't make a list. Now we overspent. It's nothing different in what we do in our businesses in our daily life.
Yeah.
We got to plan. Let's plan to be successful.
Man, he finished it up with that. Hey, guys, don't forget to follow him on his Instagram, his Facebook. It's been rolling down here in the ticker. If you can see it, go to his Facebook and Instagram too. And any questions that got for us, man, don't hesitate, because I know the people are still growing right now. We already went for an hour and 26. I know my peak when the podcast peaks, and I know at the end it peaks again. Yeah. That's why last time I almost went for 2 hours, because he peaked, and I was like, whoa, it peaked so much. And I'm like, you know what, guys? Yeah. We kept going, and I was like, hey, it is what it is. But guys, don't hesitate. #replay. #share it so they can watch it. The people that are just going in right now, and we're just finishing it up, so they can actually sit down at home and watch the whole hour and 27 minutes and 30, because we're about to just finishing up right now. And if you're not a visual person, this is gonna be on audio too. So you working out or you're in your car, you want to just listen to it, just like books. You're gonna be able to listen to us talk, and there's somewhere you gotta listen to us talk in Spanish. So man,
this one kind of went in Spanish and whatnot. I mean, it was a request, so we chose to do that, but we will do it in Spanish.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Yeah, man, and thanks for sharing, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
And we love you, and I'm telling you, you will know that we're gonna do it in Spanish. We're gonna push this out to all these groups and other groups, that people that are out there in Spanish. Even there's other business owners there's a lot of business owners that only speak Spanish, and we want them to hear this in Spanish and a little bit in Spanglish. And we're gonna have the whiteboard behind us, or any questions we're gonna go at it like a little teaching class in Spanish, and you're gonna be at it here. So and if you're out there and you want to be sitting here where this man is sitting, man, you want to tell the story, let me know. Also put a question or hit me up on my personal page, Jesus Ortiz, or just hit me up on my number, 832-739-0420. Text me, and we got this, man. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, man. If you just need some talking time, I'm a speaker, an inspirational speaker too. So right here, man, we can come to my office, have a coffee. The coffee's so great. You need to try the coffee.
Yeah, we need to try the coffee.
Yeah, the coffee's so great. We'll sit down tomorrow in the morning. I have somebody reach out to me. They come in here. We got to drink some coffee and talk. And I'm gonna have that lady in there so you can hear her story. It's an older lady, and I don't know her yet, but just by feeling that energy, man, I know there's gonna be another good story. So
absolutely,
God bless you. Oh man, we're hungry, so we get some food. And thank you. God bless.
God bless y'all.
Your boy Jesus Ortiz from the Push Power to Power Show. We are out.